right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's week 7, Jets, Panthers, MetLife Stadium. Can the New York Jets actually obtain a win this week? Right? Obviously, they're 0-6 up to this point. We've had blowout losses. We've had close losses. And it just really seems like the Jets find ways to lose as opposed to finding ways to get out of their own way or even win the game, right? Making those stamp plays, right? That fourth down conversion, that red zone conversion, picking up that third and long. It just feels like game-winning sack, right, on the defensive side of the football. Those plays, those positives are just few and far between. Really, outside of the Will McDonald play, that's pretty much it, right? But then, of course, the Will McDonald play against the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? The blocked field goal. But again, this week, Carolina Panthers. Now, the Jets were the favorite in this game, but I think the line has shifted a little bit, going back into the favor of Carolina, probably because of the Garrett Wilson injury news. Look, we all know it. Garrett Wilson is a premier wide receiver in the NFL, but without him, the Jets are desolate at the position. Completely desolate. And I know the Carolina Panthers have had their issues with wide receiver throughout the years. By the way, I was a huge fan of Tedero McMillan coming out of the draft. I didn't understand all the pre-draft hate on him. It just felt biased and weird for whatever reason. It felt like no matter what McMillan did in the pre-draft process, there was nothing that was going to, elevate him in the eyes of, a lot of NFL draft insiders. So I was really happy to see him go top 10. And, up to this point, he has over 300 receiving yards, a couple touchdowns on the season. Man, he looks like he belongs for sure. So I'm really pumped about that from Carolina's perspective. But again, flipping it back over to New York, the wide receiver position, Justin Fields isn't even throwing to open guys. So without Wilson, it could be a long day. Now, the Jets have had a very difficult time, their offensive line specifically, blocking against three-man fronts, right? We can look at that Bucs game, again, the Denver Broncos game. There's a lot of different looks that you're going to see, and the Jets have got to be prepared up front. Tippmann struggle. There's a lot of struggles in that Broncos game, and I think a large part of that is just because of Vance and his overall style of system. So the Jets have got their work cut out for them on the offensive side of the football. It sounds crazy what I'm about to say, but, even though Justin Fields was downright awful, 9 sacks for 55 yards, 45 passing yards on the game, he didn't, miss a quarter or two. No, he played the whole thing and only had 45 yards. Despite that, despite Garrett not putting up great numbers, despite Brees not putting up great numbers, despite the offensive line struggling, if the Jets only had about 30 more yards offensively, specifically looking at that last drive, they could have won the game in a walk-off field goal, as crazy as it sounds. And I think that's a testament to the special teams and the defense. The special teams and the defense have been major freaking issues for this Jets team all year. Right, defensively, there's been coverage questions. There's been pass rush questions. There's been somewhat of a question with stopping the run, but that's not first and foremost in their laundry list of problems. Effort has been a big, massive question mark, which really just infuriates me. But what we witnessed against the Broncos was a very, very different looking unit, right? We actually saw a really impressive game plan from Steve Wilks. I understand the Jets lost. Oh, it's embarrassing, Justin Fields. We have to give credit to Steve Wilks. We have to give credit to this defense. There was a lot more zone looks compared to all of the man that the Jets, typically run. It felt as though the Jets defense was more comfortable. You saw effort across the board. Of course, the massive changes. You take Tony Adams out. That's something that we've been talking about for a long time. And you insert Malachi Moore into the starting lineup at strong safety. You remove Michael Carter. He's out due to injury, but has been unplayable in the 4 games that he appeared in. And I hate to say it because I love Michael Carter, but just calling it like it is, Jarvis Brownlee is a major upgrade in this style of system compared to Michael Carter. Boom, he's in the lineup, instant contributor, looked freaking fantastic. And then, of course, Jermaine Johnson, right? The edge position for the Jets is barren, and Johnson's impact was there right off the bat. As a pass rusher, as a run stuffer, as an edge setter, as a vocal leader, man, Jermaine Johnson, I love the guy. I love him, right? And so we're looking ahead. I'll say this. If the Jets defense shows up, if they could just put out the same or similar type of performance against the Panthers, I really like the Jets' chances of hanging in this game. Now, of course, you look across the line of scrimmage, you have Bryce Young, who, 5 picks on the season, but overall, I think he's done a good enough job. Dave Canales, by the way, one of my favorite offensive play callers in the National Football League. I love Dave Canales. What an optimistic dude. Such an upbeat guy that just loves football, right? You can tell he's trying to put his best foot forward. He loves all the Carolina Panthers players, but at the same time wants to do what's best for the team. Just a really, really cool head coach. I love Canales, right? I like him as an OC. I like him as a head coach. I think the Carolina Panthers got a good one there. And the Panthers are coming off of 2 straight wins, right? They're 3-3 on the year. Rico Dowdle, I mean, he's on fire, man. Over 400 rushing yards on the year. We talked about Tedero McMillan before, but here's what I love about the Panthers offense. They don't really beat themselves all that much, right? They're number 3 in time of possession. They hold on to the football for a long time, and they're also not really flagged a whole lot either. So they can hang in games, and it's really, to me at least, it really just comes down to, is Bryce Young putting the football in play? Is he completing passes? If the answer is yes, the Panthers offense, to me, it moves, right? It's effective. It looks coherent. It looks, like you can digest it as a fan. I think Canales does a really good job of keeping defenses off balance, showing one thing, doing another. He does a good job of breaking trends, right? It's tough to look at a Canales offense maybe in the first quarter and you think you're on to them, but Canales is just always one step ahead. You never really feel like it's the opposite, where the defense, and this is just my opinion, right, from an outsider's perspective looking in, you never really feel like the defense is one-upping the Carolina Panthers offense from a coaching standpoint. It just comes down to, how is the offensive line doing? How is Bryce Young doing? At moments, you kind of feel like the game is just swallowing Bryce Young up, like he's getting, just crammed into the pocket, and or making poor decisions where he's not seeing a linebacker, dropping into coverage. So really the bottom line is the Jets defense has got to show up. If they do that, we will have a chance in this football game, but all eyes will be on Justin Fields. All eyes will be on Justin Fields. And this is my, my point of emphasis throughout the week. If I'm Aaron Glenn, if I'm Tanner Engstrand, I'm challenging the wide receivers. Who the hell is stepping up this week? Take it personally, right? Arian Smith, take it personally. You got to step up this week. I want all the guys in this room fighting for the ball, screaming at Justin Fields, throw me the ball. Hey, Garrett's out. It's my turn to shine. Give me the ball. I want to win this game. I want to break this freaking losing streak for the Jets. I'm sick and tired of losing. Give me the football. Is it going to be Arian? Is it going to be Brandon Smith? Does Quentin Skinner get elevated for the game? I don't really feel confident in Alan Lazard whatsoever. Tyler Johnson has shown the ability to get open at some points, but, he's had a drop issue. I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but I also would really, really utilize Breece and Isaiah Davis out of the passing game. Screens, stuff like that, getting the football out of Fields' hands early and often to get him in a rhythm so he's not second-guessing himself and looking at wide-open receivers and not throwing the ball. And then, of course, Mason Taylor, right? What's exactly going to be the plan there? Andrew Beck, Stone Smarts potentially. It feels a little weird suggesting those names because we haven't really seen anything at all up to this point through, 6 games of the NFL season. But someone's got to step up. Someone better, because if we don't, we're probably going to look at another loss. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. There's a lot of pressure here. There's a lot of pressure on AG to come back to MetLife Stadium post-London week. Again, Carolina, boom, hard-fought victory 2 weeks ago. Boom, hard-fought victory this past week against Dallas, right? A good football team that blew out the Jets recently. But now they're going on the road up to Jersey, MetLife Stadium. Can this be the game where the Jets capitalize? They feel comfortable at home and they start, really stacking bricks because, again, defensively, special teams wise, it was easily the best performances of the season so far. Unfortunately, Justin Fields and the offense was historically, utterly disgraceful. Justin Fields was not drafted by the Jets. He is not owed $100 million. He's not on a 4-year deal. There are no strings attached to Justin Fields. It's a trial run, 2-year, $40 million. Hey, can you be the next Sam Darnold? Can you be the next Baker Mayfield? Can you be the next one of these former first-round picks with talent that's flashed, that's, obviously has an upside? Can you be that next guy? And we've seen a lot of disappointing performances from Fields this season. There's no reason to stick with Justin, again, in the event that he is struggling, that he is holding the offense back, because it's not like we don't have a backup. It's not like Tim Boyle all over again. No, it's Tyrod Taylor, a proven veteran who former players are talking about, hey, you know what? It's probably best put Tyrod in the starting lineup there. You don't want to lose the locker room. You've already had multiple players freak out. Garrett Wilson yelling at Aaron Glenn. Breece Hall posting his cryptic IG post. Armand Membu literally jumping up and down. And you know what it is. It's because he's out there doing his thing, blocking well on an island, and the quarterback was not getting rid of the football. Holding on for far too long. If that starts happening early in the game and the Carolina Panthers get a couple sacks, they get an interception, they fall on a fumble, or we're down early 10-0, I'm going to Taylor, and I'm not even going to think twice about it. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and as always, go Jets.